How to create a rod in PractiCAD. The best way to create a rod in PractiCAD is to simply import it from PractiCAM. However, you can also design one here. To design a rod, we're going to go into the library icon on the PractiCAD ribbon. We're going to maximize our library icon browser, and then we're going to come over to the left to where it says accessories. We're going to click on the little plus key, and we're going to scroll down to where it says rod. When we click on the word rod, PractiCAD will show us the list of available choices. We're also going to be given the ability to import rods directly from PractiCAM. To create a new rod, we need to come over to the left on our browser and click the green check for create a new item. When we do that, PractiCAD will create a new rod and ask us to name it. For this tutorial, we're going to call this one PCAD rod. The first parameter on the list is the rod diameter parameter. This is a very simple parameter which is used to control the diameter of the rod on your drawing. This parameter has no effect on what you download from PractiCAD to PractiCAM. For example, if we decide to make the rod diameter 4 inches so that we can see it on our drawing here, when this rod type downloads from PractiCAD to PractiCAM, PractiCAM is not going to pick up this value. It's specifically designed so that the draftsman can put the rods in a specific diameter size so that they can view them on their drawing and plot. When you download a PractiCAM, there is a parameter there called rod diameter. And that parameter there is going to stay for whatever you've got set inside PractiCAM. This number will have no bearing on that value whatsoever. The second parameter we have currently is the length add parameter. The length add parameter is a parameter that will have no effect on your PractiCAD preview whatsoever. It actually is a parameter that's listed in PractiCAM and will demonstrate what it does there. However, in PractiCAD, this value will have no bearing on the preview. However, if you would like to report the length add parameter for any reason, you can put the value here and then put it on a PractiCAD report. To demonstrate what it does in PractiCAM, we're going to switch over now. Here we are inside PractiCAM, underneath My Libraries, Accessories. We have selected the Rod section, and here you can see the parameter length add is set at 1. 1 inch means that there's 1 inch of rod added to either end of the fitting. So if we were to change this to 10, that means there'd be 10 inches of rod added to either side of the fitting. As you can see here, we've got a much larger rod sticking out of both ends. So the length add parameter is actually a PractiCAM parameter. Regardless of what you put for length add in PractiCAD, when that rod downloads to PractiCAM, PractiCAM is only going to follow whatever it says here. The only reason why that parameter is inside PractiCAD is for reporting currently. The rod distance parameter is the default inset-outset parameter that the rod should start off whenever we go to insert the PCAD rod into a fitting. For example, the rod distance being 1 inch means that there's a 1 inch distance between the in connector and the rod. If we were to put the rod distance at 12, you can see that PractiCAD is going to move the rod down the fitting 12 inches. So what we can do is we can roll this rod into whatever position we'd like it to start from as a default. In this particular tutorial, we're going to say 12. And when we save and exit out and insert the rod, it's going to start with the inset-outset parameter at 12. So we're going to demonstrate that by exiting out of library. We've got a fitting on the drawing in isometric view. We're going to go over to our rods in the accessory panel. We're going to click on the duct to insert it. And right here, when we go to rod, PCAD rod as we're demonstrating with, and we choose count 1, you can see the inset-outset parameter, which is the rod distance parameter, is set at 12 to start. Now, of course, from here, we can move it to whatever we want. But by choosing the rod distance parameter, we can start it from a specific default position. Once again, this parameter will download from PractiCAD to PractiCAM so that the hole is cut out and positioned properly. The last 3 parameters we have currently are the parameters for the fastener plates. Currently, PractiCAD does not show fastener plates on the drawing. However, these properties were made to be reportable from PractiCAD. You've got 3 properties here currently. Set fastener plate, yes or no. If you say yes or no, it is not going to put a fastener plate on the drawing, but you could have a report that states that our rod does have a fastener plate, so they've added the parameter here. You'll also get the width and length of that plate. Now these parameters are matched up with the parameters inside PractiCAD, so we're going to go over to PractiCAD now. Looking in PractiCAD, you can see here that we've got the plate length and plate width parameters, and then you've got the checkbox for fastener plate. When it's checked, it means fastener plate yes. You can see the plate right here. And if it's unchecked, it means fastener plate no. Now there are separate tutorials on designing accessories in PractiCAD. What we're doing in this particular exercise is showing you that the parameters from CAD to CAM, though they match, whatever you put in PractiCAD is going to stay in PractiCAD. So if I do decide to take the plate length and plate width and adjust it in PractiCAD and then download that fitting, PractiCAD is going to ignore whether it has a fastener plate or doesn't have a fastener plate. What it's actually going to do is it's going to use whatever options you've got set here. So this is really your main database. However, from the CAD, we can report whether or not something has a fastener plate or what the length and width of that plate would be. So those parameters, just like the length add parameter, are there for reporting.